warm up. I will try something. Okay.
Are you going to do the wave cap?
No, no, totally different. More like relevant to the people. Okay. Can you guys say? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, can you guys say do? Okay. Can you guys please say oh?
Oh!
Can you guys say A?
Hey!
Okay. And you guys say 4.
4.
Okay. Now let's try.
Oh! 2, 4. Hey!
Okay.
Hey!
Oh, this is so much fun.
Oh!
Oh. Yeah.
Oh! Hey!
Crap.
Oh!
4.
Hey!
We got it!
What did we just say?
Now listen to what you all are saying.
Oh! Hey!
No, crap. Okay.
2. Oh!
4.
Hey!
Still not getting it? And you haven't been paying attention to your classmates. Okay.
That took a while, sorry.
Now I get. Oh, that was lame. Okay, anyway, you can go back to playing. Anyway, we've mostly met for the 2 nice ladies who have recently joined us. And is there anyone else that I've forgotten? Oh, anyway, I'm Gašper. If you haven't met me, you have one more day to see me here. Tomorrow morning, I'm moving back to Slovenia. And, oh well, come on.
No questions.
Oh. Anyway, if you want to see me again, talk to Rob, make him organize something like this next year. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about things I know next to nothing about. So you can think of me as a dumb user who got his boss to get him a toy for 300 euros and who has had a chance to have some fun with it. And I'm guessing that especially people from Munich should know more about the subject than I do. So hopefully you can ask them questions. Okay, now because apparently it's the thing to do here, first I'm going to talk about where I'm from, so Slovenia. So this is us over here. This is where the Slovenians are from. Just a little country right next to the Adriatic, a few meters from Austria, a few meters from Graz. You usually see us on your way to Croatia. And I agree with your choice. The seaside in Croatia is so much better. Just don't. I mean, if anyone tells you the sea is nice in Slovenia, no. Sorry. Just go to Croatia. However, okay, this is Slovenia. As you can see, our country is a chicken. No limbs have been chopped off, and this was our first search engine back before Google was popular. This is our seaside, the town of Piran. If there's any reason for you to not be able to go to Croatia, I guess this is the part to see. This was taken like this spring. I mean, I think it's like a month ago, and some more pictures. Okay, I don't know who took this one, and if I had a plane, this is what I could see. Okay, besides from the seashore, if you like colder stuff, this is the place to visit. If you ever come to Slovenia, it's probably going to be the first place they take you. The Bled Lake is like one of the only 2 lakes we have, and we kind of think it's cool. Okay, so yeah, it's a really touristy place. So it's nice. You can go to the church, ring a bell. Apparently, you're supposed to get your wish. But if you ask me, the second lake, which is the Bohin Lake, is a bit better. Really clear water. You can swim in it during the summer. It's not too cold. You can go hiking in the mountains that are just next to the lake. And there are actually 7 lakes. But, I mean, you can see this is from one side of the lake to the other. So that's the kind of stuff we call a lake. And I'm pretty sure the Dutch have a separate word for that. Okay, so more pictures of walking. Yeah, this is actually as far, I mean, this is the greatest extent you can have. Also, we have some thermal spas. This is the biggest one. Yeah, compared to the park you guys have, it sucks, but we actually don't have to pay to heat it because it's heated by thermal wells, so it's kind of nice. Just a typical place you can take a bath in, and I'm so sorry this is taking so long. Okay, this is another spa in Rogaška. Here, I mean, if you have too much money and want to hang out with really rich tourists from, say, Russia, this is the place to go. And I mean, here also they have like a thermal spa. Also, they sell bottled water. I mean, yeah, it's good water. Yeah, I mean, it's good. And they make like crystal glass. To me, I mean, okay, Swarovski might be cool, but their trinkets, if you want proper glass, this is what you buy. And the Socha Valley. This is another place in Slovenia. It's practically Narnia on Earth. And I'm saying this because they filmed the Chronicles of Narnia here. You can go rafting. The water in the river is really, really, really clear. And okay, this might have been photoshopped, but not too much. No, I mean, seriously, it is. I mean, I'm not sure if it has been photoshopped. Because I got it from the internet, yeah, probably it has, but this is the color the water gets if it's not exactly raining. It's amazing. And this is Ljubljana, the place where most of us spend our time, but none of us want to be from. It's in the middle of a swamp. The climate is probably one of the worst in Slovenia. Unfortunately, it's also our capital. But apparently, by what I've heard from the tourists, the architecture is nice, people are nice once you get to know them, and the service industry is horrible. Don't expect people to be kind to you, but I mean, the prices are fair. Some more sights of Ljubljana, and now, right in the center of Ljubljana, across from a really nice cake shop, is our university. So this is our university. The cake shop would be like somewhere around here, I guess, if you had a panoramic camera. This is just the administrative part of the building. It used to be the main building, but unlike most of your university, ours is like a confederation of university. If you ask one of my colleagues, all the human studies university could be abolished, all the human studies faculties could be abolished in a moment. And I think the feeling is mutual. So when you speak to our students, they mostly don't associate themselves with the University of Ljubljana. They consider themselves to be computer scientists, so that would be the Faculty of Computers and Computer and Information Sciences, which is this. And yes, this has been photoshopped because at the moment our faculty building looks something like this. We have to move in by July because otherwise we're going to have to pay rent at the place where we're staying now and also pay for the upkeep of this building, and we're going to go broke, basically. But it's supposed to be like a really nice building. It was built from EU funds, so now we're supposed to enroll more students, have them graduate better, and publish more articles. So if any of you want to enroll and learn some Slovenian, you guys are all welcome. We are part of the Erasmus program. But when I was thinking about what would be like most typically Slovenian, the only thing I could think about was the fire brigades. Yeah, the fire brigades. Austrians, where's the Austrians? Yeah. Do you have like volunteer fire brigades? Okay. Do they organize parties and stuff, especially in villages? No. Yeah.
Yes.
And they organize parties?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we're pretty much the same. When I was thinking about an organization that has survived throughout the centuries, the firefighters are probably the core of Slovenia. If you want to see how typical Slovenians party, you should look for a party organized by a fire brigade. In Slovenian, that's Gasilska veselica. We can look it up. If you want typical Slovenian music, Gasilska veselica, you're gonna get some. So this would be firefighters from when we were in the same country as the Austrians. No, I mean, okay, in the same empire as the Austrians.
Under the sea.
Yeah, I guess. You're right. If I could go back, I would kill the Habsburg that inherited the Celia region, but crap, it was like this close. One more male heir and we would have had him. Anyway, I can explain later. And now these are just normal firefighters, and I guess they're really proud of their real cars. Okay, that's it for Slovenia. If you have any other questions, ask. Now let's get down to RFID basics. Everything I'm going to show you here, you can get from here, and the guy writing this site is from Munich. So go Munich. How do RFID cards work? Well, basically you have a device that has a coil, and this coil is acting like a primary on a transformer. And then you have a little card which also has a little coil, and it's acting as a secondary on a transformer. So you're transferring power just like in a really old say battery charger. You're transferring power from one coil to the other, and they're acting like two coils in the transformer. Now the only thing is, okay, now I can power this. If I can power this car, the second coil, how am I going to get data from it? Well, the principle is pretty simple. So you have the reader here, you have the card here, and the idea is this coil charges up a capacitor. Sorry, no, this coil just, charges up the capacitor, and the coil and the capacitor are like acting as a single circuit. Whenever the voltage here rises, it's rectified, and this part of the circuit just charges this capacitor. So the idea is you get the power from here, and you charge up this little capacitor that's acting like a battery, and you power your microcontroller, your really simple logic chip from this capacitor. Okay, so now you have a working chip. I guess that's fine. How do you get data from this chip back to the reader? Okay, this is actually quite simple. You just make a short circuit on the coil. And because you have a short circuit here, the power consumption on this side of your transformer is going to increase. And you can detect the rising power consumption on this side. And that's it. So you have like a little transformer, you're making a short circuit, and by looking at the power on the other side, you're sending signals. I mean, you can read signals from the card. And that's what these cards do, at least as far as I can understand them. Since we have people who majored in electronics, I think you could give us a better explanation.
But yours is very good.
Okay, cool. Because really, I'm like a computer guy. This is a bit out of my league. Now, how exactly do the cards communicate with the readers? Well, there are standards. A bunch of them. First, what you have to choose is what sort of frequency the transformer is working at. Because the frequency is going to impact the size of the coils you need and the range you can get. The most popular frequencies are somewhere between 125 and 134 kilohertz, then 14 point, wait, isn't this supposed to be 13.56? Yep. Anyway, let's say around 14 megahertz. And now, lately, we've been seeing RFID tags on higher frequencies. For example, on 2.4 gigahertz, you have active RFID, but not really, tags that can work over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, like the dongles some people are selling that you can use to find your stuff. But mostly, the tags people use, the passive tags, are used in this range. And I'm so sorry, I don't think it would make sense to use this. I actually tried unsuccessfully to build a really simple power transfer circuit. And I just got two coils. I'm powering them off my audio card. So if I play some sort of music, okay, this should be working. Now, okay, so this is the music, and now you can see there is a signal coming through, and this would actually work with normal headphones. However, my original idea was to power little LED. I don't know what I did wrong. I had like a primary with a few turns and many more turns on the secondary. It was supposed to work. Doesn't. Oh well. Anyway, you can see you can like transfer at least a signal by just having two coils together. Thought I should show you just because people would be wondering what this is about. Okay, now let's get down to the other part of the standard. So this is the frequency you're going to work. These are the frequencies that most tags work at. Now, what about the mode of communication between the transmitter and the chip on the other side? Well, it turns out there are multiple standards. Some better, some worse. The better ones are the ISO family, which contains ISO 14443A, 443B, and so on. And MyFair is actually an extension of this standard. So basically the ISO standards are pretty good. What about others? Well, not so much. The first RFID tags were actually created, I mean, at least some of the first RFID tags were created for tracking airplane parts. So the main idea was have a tag somewhere on a part of an airplane, and you should be able to see which part that is, like a barcode. So the way these two work is you just have some sort of number stored inside a tag. Just some number. And there is no negotiation between the reader and the tag. No, the reader just powers the tag, and the tag constantly transmits the number that's stored inside it. And so now the toy I'm going to show you is basically an RFID reader. This was supposed to turn on. Okay, it's coming around. Okay. So this is a Proxmark III. Oh, sorry, no. This is a Proxmark III. I have two of them because I thought, okay, let's play with RFIDs. I'm going to do one for the reading and one for the writing, okay? So my supervisor got me two little toys. The Proxmark is available on the net. You can buy it for like, I don't know, 200 euros probably. When we bought it, they were 300 a piece. Fully assembled, we didn't have to do anything. Also, you can get the schematics on the net. They're freely available. If your faculty has the capability, you can build them yourself. The main parts of the Proxmark are. Okay, that's not us.
Firefighters.
Oh, cool! So the main parts here are there's a microprocessor. Yeah, I guess a microcontroller. There's an FPGA to do some signal processing, and one of these other chips is an AD converter, and one of them is a DA converter. So basically you have like a really overpowered little sound card that can power a coil, and which can read data back from the coil. And it has a really fast chip that can do some of the processing, and a slower chip that you can use to communicate with the PC. Okay, now, all right. How do you connect to it? Well, basically you take a little antenna, you take a special little cable with a connector that I don't know why it's different than a USB. I guess it's better for the signal, and so that you don't get it mixed up. And then just connect the thing to a PC, and it powers up. There are like LEDs blinking, stuff like this. Okay, so this is a reader. You actually have two antennas because the Proxmark can work either in the range between 125 and 134 kilohertz, or in the range around 14 megahertz. and I'm pretty sure it's actually 13 points. Anyway, this means you can read most of the cards out there. So I should have, I should have some cards that are used widely. So we've got this. Some people from the Netherlands cracked this, at least some older versions, then the manufacturer kind of mitigated the flaw. They found another flaw. This. There are like a bunch of different cards that we can use. I'm not even sure what all of them are for. And you can read these. The next question is, I think, how you do it. And yeah, let me get started. I hope this doesn't get too boring for you. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this one, because this is the Proxmark that was used by one of our students, and it still has an old version of the software on it. So I guess I can pass this one around. You guys can take a look at it. And I'm going to use the one that I've been using. Actually, I've broken it down. Just pass it around, have people who haven't seen it yet look at it. Okay, this would be it. Okay, now I've connected. Okay, connecting things. All right. Things work better when you plug them in. Okay. So this is the Proxmark port, and you use the Proxmark from some sort of shell. Actually, this program is just pretty much a serial terminal thingy that communicates with the Proxmark, and most of the commands you're going to see here are implemented in a microcontroller on the Proxmark. And everything in the Proxmark is open source, so you can modify it. You can modify it as you like. And I've actually done some modification on this one, but not too much. Okay, so this is the help. Most of the useful things are in the hardware, are under hardware, high frequency and low frequency. So, for example, for hardware, you can check if your antenna is working. And right now it should, in a few seconds, tell me, okay, when I powered up the antenna, I got these voltages on the low frequency antenna, which would be the big ping pong racket thingy, and sorry, paddle. And the high frequency antenna isn't connected at the moment, so it's not working so well. Now, if I use a card on this, a low frequency card, okay, now see the voltages are lower because the antenna is also powering the chip on the card. Okay, so these are some of the basics. I mean, this is the hardware basic stuff. Now for the fun stuff. If you look at LF, you have a bunch of commands related to different chips. Like you have commands for the EM4K and DALA and so forth. So these are the different standards that this reader supports. You can use them, and as you can see, if you do something like this, you can also simulate a tag. So now you can read RFID tags and you can simulate them, and some of them aren't encrypted, so you can have fun. Now let's go for the fun part. I have a friend. He lives in like a block of flats. And he happened, to enter the building, he happens to have an RFID tag. So if I wanted to come visit him, I would have had to like ring a bell, he would open the door, and then I would enter. Why do that? Seriously. He let me take like a look at his card once. And, oh right, I think I have. This is going to be easier. Okay. And this is what I did. Click. The door opens. Okay. So, this is pretty much all I know how to do. Use some software, click, get a card, copy it, have the door open. And you would think that, okay, this is just a block of flats, right? Everyone can have the key. There are like 100 people living in the building. Even if you use normal keys, they're going to get open. Yeah, sure. That's actually true, but the problem is the same cards are being used elsewhere. So you have like this little block of flats, I can get in. But in Slovenia we have something that's called the Cankarjev Dom. It's like the biggest theater in Slovenia. This is one of the halls inside of it. There are multiple. This is the building from the outside. This is one of the publicly accessible halls. This is like a map of one of the floors, and the little red dots are actually the places where you have RFID readers, which you can use to access the part of the building that's not accessible to the public. How do I know this? In the back I have a guy who actually works there. So he's been able to grant me access. Okay, to be honest, I had access before I knew him. Because I just had to speak to the people at the reception desk. One lent me one of their cards, and then I just guessed, I got the number of the card, just guessed randomly around that number, and I was able to get one of the cards that had access to the part of the building the public and the guy I was speaking to shouldn't have had access to. So yeah, there's some more locations where you can get in. By the way, the Cankarjev Dom is connected to some other institutions underground. The first one that's really interesting is the shelter, like the nuclear war shelter for our parliament. That's actually inside Cankarjev Dom, underneath the place. Another one is a bank. But okay, actually to get to the door to the bank, you don't have to use an RFID snooper. When I was about 17, maybe 18, I was performing with some guys in this building. It was just about the time they had installed the electric key locks. Before then, everything was actually just open. So just before they had installed the locks, we found a way to get into the part where all the, into the air conditioning part and that place. So we were just like browsing around the, what do you call it, the cellar, looking at nice pipes. Oh, yeah, sorry, I should probably show you that. Yeah, this is a few years later. So we were in the cellar working around, looking around, checking out all the installations. It was fun. And then some employees came. And the first question was, what are you kids doing here? We got lost. But the doors are locked. How'd you get in here? Over here. And we just walked around the basement for a while, came to a random door, said, okay, this is the door we've just come through. No, you didn't. No, seriously, we got through this door. No, kids, you did not get through this door. What do you mean? This door is closed. Yeah, but it was open a few minutes ago. No, it wasn't. It was. Listen, kids, the door is welded shut. It's connected immediately to the vault of the bank next door. You did not get through this door. Okay, then I guess we don't know where we came in. And they thought we were like stoned and let us go. Seriously, Slovenia is a great place. So, okay, this is, but I guess if I can get in here, if there isn't a war going on, I'm not gonna cause any trouble, right? I'm just gonna see some shows. Actually, I might be able to meet some celebrities, but since I have their phone numbers on my phone anyways. No, I got my phone from from a girl who's like a performer and he knows a lot, she knows a lot of it. Slovenia is really a great place, you can get to know everyone. But okay, here's another building. This is the national TV. Okay, in this case they're actually using cards that have some sort of protection. And I haven't been able to get in here yet. I mean, no, I've been in there because I did some work in there, and I'm pretty sure that if you went through the back door, you could get in unnoticed. And if you just drop some names, say you're visiting them, seem confident, the doorman will let you in. However, the thing with this one is, I actually used to work, when I was like 19, I worked for the company that does their readers, Четвърта Pot. And as far as I know, most of the technology that they use can now be cracked. So this was me when I was 19. Yeah, sorry, it's taking so long. So this was me back then, pretty much the same guy, I think. Yeah, the same guy. So anyway, this company makes RFID cards, and when I was working for them, only one guy had access to the documentation on how to use a reader, let alone clone the cards. These days, anyone can do it. You should be able to get through pretty easily. And yeah, the entrance is right behind here, and the company that sells stuff actually makes their own like reader terminals, and they can be crushed easily. Why am I telling you this? I actually had to pay for one of these. There's like a tourniquet when you enter the building here, and instead of waiting for the guy to open it for me, I tried to skip over it. But the top of the thing that's supposed to block a person was made from really pliable plastic, and the screen was embedded in it, and it just cracked. And for a monochrome screen this big, I had to pay like 200 euros with all the servicing and stuff like that. And no, my former employers did not agree on me replacing the screen myself. I hate them for it. Okay, now another card we use in Slovenia that still hasn't been cracked is the Ljubljana. This is the only picture of a bus from Ljubljana that showed a whole bus that I was able to find. Most of the buses are more modern, but by the way, the drivers don't like them. They say that it's like riding on top of a carton of eggs, because they're so quiet, you don't feel any power under you, they're boring. The drivers love these old machines, and I guess that's why they're keeping them. Okay, now for some other attacks. Well, one thing you could do, I mean, even with secure cards that people often forget about, is you could, if you have a Proxmark, you could use this to transmit data from a reader to a card. The idea is, some people are trying to use RFID for credit cards. They're trying to use near-field communication to do like some pretty serious stuff. And what you could do, theoretically, and I think it's been done like in a lab, is you could take one of these and go on a bus, have an antenna on it, stand behind some person who has one of these cards in their wallet. So suppose they have like a credit card in their wallet. Then have a friend go into a supermarket. You stand behind the guy with the wallet. Your friend stands at the checkout. When the friend wants to pay, all he has to do is something like this. Yeah, I'm paying right now with an empty card and an antenna up his sleeve. And you can have the reader on the side of the checkout communicate over a network with the guy inside a bus. And you just intercept the communication, pass it forward. Do man in the middle. No, actually it's not even a man in the middle attack, it's like a relay attack. Get money from a person, no problem. Does anyone recognize this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're using the same system. Last year when we were at your place, they gave us like visitor cards. Just before leaving, I was able to check. Yeah, you're using Indala. The only thing that identifies one of you is a 64-bit number, and usually these are handled out sequentially, so they might be close to each other. Maybe you should tell someone this. And okay, so the main points of the presentation. When people choose RFID systems, often they consider price before they consider security. So a card is a card is a card, right? There is no difference. Okay, actually there is. If you want to spoof an RFID card, so if any of the kids want to copy one of the lecturer's cards, these can be had for like 60 euros. The Proxmark is about 200 euros because, well, it's a development tool. You can get access to the raw data from the AD converters. You can implement your own protocols, stuff like that. The standard readers, yeah, they're even cheaper. And you can get them from China. And some phones actually have the necessary hardware. All you need is some software. So, yeah, if you're going to do your own stuff, make sure you read up on the exact system you're going to be using. And this is the most important part. If people catch you, smile, explain what you're really interested in, and they'll usually let you go. Apart from the time when we were caught, and when we said that we got into Cankarjev Dom from the side of the bank, well, that's not the only time we went there. It's not the only time we were caught. The second time was, I think, a year later, and just one guy caught us, and he asked, "What are you doing here?" "Well, your air conditioning system is really cool. You have like a fan that's 2 meters in diameter. It looks like something from the X-Files. I wanted to show my friends that. Could you show us around?" And he said, "Well, yeah, sure. But no one ever comes here." And he showed us the heat pumps, obviously the recuperator, that's the huge fan, and he let us access the computers and at least check the IPs they had. So, I mean, they were using. So people really usually are kind, and you can get them to show you all sort of stuff. Just be honest. Tell them what you really need. Okay, and visit Estonia. No, I mean seriously. Some of our guys are going to Estonia tomorrow. I'm going to be flying back, so I won't be able to join you. But if anyone here wants to join the crew in the back on their trip to Tallinn, right? Yeah, maybe they could have gone somewhere else. Anyway, if any of you guys want to join in, talk to today, you guys should have fun. Okay, that's it from me. Any questions?